You are not lazy, you are not broken, you are tired, deeply tired. There is a kind of exhaustion that sleep doesn't touch, and it lives in your bones, your mind, your spirit. Burnout doesn't always arrive like a firestorm. Sometimes it's quiet. It sneaks in slowly until one day, brushing your teeth feels like a mountain you can't climb. Answering a text feels like a chore. Even joy, the simplest joy, feels like something other people get to have, but not you. You've been calling yourself lazy, haven't you? But let's pause and go deeper. Let's speak gently to the wounds beneath your stillness. Sign 1. You are overwhelmed by simple tasks you used to handle so much. You could juggle deadlines, emotions, conversations, expectations all without skipping a beat. But now, even choosing what to eat feels like a decision too heavy to make. You find yourself staring at emails you can't open. Messages go unread, dishes pile up. It's not that you don't care, you care too much. That's part of it, isn't it? You are not lazy. Your nervous system is overburdened. You are in survival mode, and when your brain is just trying to keep you afloat, executive functioning shuts down. Your mind isn't malfunctioning. It's protecting you. So be gentle here. You are doing the best you can with a body and soul that's screaming for rest. Sign 2. You feel numb, not rested, after breaks you try to rest. You scroll through your phone, watch something, maybe even take a nap, but you don't feel better afterward, just disconnected. That's not rest, that's collapse. When you're burnt out, your rest doesn't restore you. It becomes an escape, a moment of nothingness to avoid the everything that's waiting, and this numbness, it makes you question your worth. But it's not your worth that's broken, it's your connection to it. Burnout strips away the aliveness from living, but numbness is not laziness. It's the body's way of saying, please, I need time to feel safe again. Sign 3. You overthink everything and still feel behind you replay conversations. You second. Guess every decision, you make a to-do list, then abandon it. You write the message, then delete it. You plan the day, then stare at the wall. You think you're procrastinating, but you're actually caught in freeze response. The trauma response, no one talks about the one where nothing moves. This isn't about discipline. This is about trauma and attachment wounds, and all the times you were told your best wasn't good enough. When your body doesn't trust that effort will lead to safety, it stops trying. Sign 4. You crave isolation but feel lonely in it. You've stopped reaching out. You don't have the energy to explain what you're going through, especially when you don't understand it yourself. So you say, I'm just tired. But what you mean is, I don't know how to be a person right now. You withdraw, you turn off your notifications, you disappear into silence, and yet in that silence you ache. You ache for someone to notice your absence, someone to say, I see you, even here. This is not laziness. This is the quiet collapse of someone who has been holding too much, too long. Sign 5. You feel guilty for resting even when you take a break. Your mind punishes you for it. You tell yourself you're falling behind, that you should be doing more, that you're wasting time, but healing isn't wasted time. You didn't choose this burnout. You arrived here by surviving too many storms without enough shelter. And now your healing is the bravest thing you can do. The guilt you feel isn't truth, it's conditioning. Old programming that linked your worth to your productivity. And it's time to unlearn that lie. Sign 6. You don't recognize yourself anymore. You look in the mirror and feel like a stranger. The sparkle is gone. The fire has dimmed. You wonder where that version of you went, the one who laughed louder, moved faster, dreamed bigger. But that version of you isn't gone. She's resting. She's waiting. And she needs your compassion, not your criticism. Burnout changes us not because we're weak, but because we have hearts that feel deeply. And we've ignored their cries for too long. You are not lazy, you are layered. Your fatigue has roots. Your silence has weight. Your stillness has a story, and maybe, just maybe, what you need right now is not more discipline, not another self-help routine, not a productivity hack. Maybe what you need is softness, slowness, safety, Maybe what you need is to let yourself fall apart, without shame, to let the tears come, to breathe into the spaces you've been abandoning. You don't need fixing. You need holding, so let this be that holding space. Let this be the moment you stop calling yourself lazy and start calling yourself healing. There's something hauntingly quiet about burnout. It doesn't always announce itself in dramatic breakdowns or emotional outbursts. Sometimes it looks like stillness, like staring at your phone for hours, unable to move, like sitting at the edge of your bed wondering why brushing your teeth feels like climbing a mountain, like watching the sun move across the wall and still feeling stuck in the same spot inside your soul. And yet, you call yourself lazy because that's the word the world taught you. When you stop producing, when you stop performing, when you stop showing up with the same energy they were used to suddenly, you're seen as unmotivated. Irresponsible, weak, but you are not weak. You are not lazy. You are overloaded. Burnout is not a flaw in your character. It's the natural result of being emotionally, mentally, and physically stretched past your limits for far too long without relief. It is your nervous system's way of saying, I can't keep doing this. And yet, because the world doesn't often see internal suffering, your struggle gets mislabeled. Your shutdown gets mistaken for disinterest. Your fatigue gets misread as apathy. But deep down, you care. You always have. That's the truth, isn't it? You care too much. That's part of the problem. You care about doing things well. You care about being there for others. You care about making the right choices. And somewhere along the line, that caring turned into overcaring, and that overcaring turned into emotional exhaustion. There's a specific kind of pain that comes with being a high-functioning person who suddenly can't function. It makes you question your worth, makes you feel like you've failed yourself, makes you wonder why everything that used to feel manageable now feels unbearable. But what if I told you this was never about motivation? What if I told you this was about survival? When you're burnt out, your body begins to operate differently. Your nervous system shifts into a protective state, a constant fight, flight, or freeze loop. And when that happens, your brain doesn't prioritize productivity or connection. It prioritizes survival. Your energy is being funneled toward keeping you emotionally afloat, not checking things off a to-do list. The inability to do small things isn't laziness, it's a symptom. It's a body crying out for slowness. It's a mind begging for silence. It's a spirit saying, I've carried too much for too long. But you've been gaslighting yourself, haven't you? Telling yourself, I should be doing more. I used to be better than this. Why can't I just get it together? And every time you say that, you're dismissing the part of you that's in pain, the part of you that needs to be held, not pushed, the part of you that is tired of being strong, tired of keeping it all together, tired of pretending you're okay. You've spent years running on empty, haven't you? You said yes when you wanted to say no. You stayed silent when your soul screamed for boundaries. You kept showing up even when no one showed up for you. You kept pushing even when your heart whispered, I can't keep doing this. And now, your body has pulled the emergency brake. It's not sabotage. It's not laziness. It's wisdom. Your system is saying, this is unsustainable. I need something to change. But instead of listening, you turned against yourself. You made your fatigue the villain when it's actually the messenger. And maybe, for the first time, it's time to listen, to step out of judgment and into compassion, to stop forcing yourself to get back to normal, and start redefining what your normal should be, to acknowledge that your inner world is begging for rest, not ridicule. Because here's the truth, burnout doesn't come from doing too little. It comes from feeling too much for too long. It comes from overextension, from unmet emotional needs, from abandonment wounds and perfectionist tendencies that scream, keep going or you'll be worthless. But you are not worthless, you never were. Even in your stillness, even in your disconnection, even in your collapse, you are human and humans have limits. You've simply reached yours, so now you rebuild not through punishment but through tenderness. You start by recognizing the difference between laziness and burnout. Laziness says, I don't want to. Burnout says, I want to, but I can't. Do you hear the ache in that difference, the longing, the guilt? The quiet desperation of someone who wants to be better, but their heart just doesn't have the capacity right now. That's you. And that's okay. You are not failing. You are healing. Maybe not in ways that the world can see, but healing still. Every time you rest instead of berate yourself, you're healing. Every time you breathe through the shame and choose softness, you're healing. Every time you say, I need a break, and mean it, you're reclaiming yourself from a system that taught you your only value is in your doing. And maybe that's the real work now. Not trying harder, but learning how to hold yourself when you feel like collapsing. Learning how to stay when you feel like disappearing. Learning how to whisper, I'm still worthy, even when you do nothing at all, because you are, not for what you achieve, not for how much you give, not for how productive you are. You are worthy simply because you exist, and the world needs your healing self just as much as it needed your high functioning self, maybe more. So stop calling yourself lazy. You are burnt out, you are tired, you are becoming, and you are allowed to rest. There's a kind of rest that isn't rest at all. It looks like lying in bed all day, but still feeling like you're running a marathon inside. It looks like taking a break, closing your eyes, putting the world on pause. And yet when you open them again, nothing inside you feels lighter. You're still tired, still aching, still buried beneath a fog you can't explain. This is the kind of exhaustion that rest doesn't fix. And yet you tell yourself you're just not trying hard enough. That maybe if you took a longer nap, watched a different show, lit a candle, took a bath, drank more water, you search for solutions, rituals, recovery tricks. And when they don't work, the guilt creeps in. You tell yourself you must be lazy, that something's wrong with you. But what if I told you that you're not lazy at all, you're collapsing? There's a subtle difference between rest and collapse. And when you're burnt out, your body doesn't rest, it shuts down. It disconnects, it dissociates. Because rest, true rest, requires a nervous system that feels safe enough to relax. And yours has been in overdrive for far too long. When your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, it doesn't interpret silence as peace, it interprets it as threat. So even when you finally stop, your body can't let go. Your thoughts race, your muscles stay tense, you feel numb instead of nourished, blank instead of refreshed, and yet you blame yourself. You say things like, I just wasted the whole day, or I can't even rest properly, but those aren't truths. They're echoes of a world that taught you your value is measured by how fast you bounce back. But you're not here to bounce back. You're here to heal forward, and healing forward takes time. It takes softness. It takes a radical act of self-acceptance in a world obsessed with speed, performance, and pretending to be fine. Because you're not fine, are you? You feel disconnected from your body, your motivation, your sense of joy. Even the things that once made you feel alive don't seem to reach you anymore. You watch the movie, but you don't laugh. You eat the food, but you don't taste it. You take the nap, but you don't wake up feeling human. That is not laziness. That is grief. Grief for the parts of you that were never given permission to rest. Grief for the years you spent pushing past every red flag your body waved at you. Grief for the version of you that didn't know how to say, I need help. There's a sorrow that lives beneath burnout, and it's this: I gave everything I had, and it still wasn't enough. So you collapse, and the world calls it laziness, but the soul knows better. The soul knows you are in recovery. Not from a task, but from a pattern of ignoring your needs, a pattern of overgiving, a pattern of making yourself small so others could be comfortable, a pattern of being the strong one, even when you were crumbling inside. That's the collapse, not a failure of effort, but a reckoning, a surrender, a final exhale after holding your breath for years. And now, your rest must become different. It must go deeper. Not just physical rest, but emotional rest. Not just pausing your schedule, but pausing your self-criticism. Not just doing less, but being more gentle, because rest isn't just about stopping, it's about restoring, and restoration only happens when you feel safe with yourself. But if you lie down and immediately start listing the things you should be doing, that's not rest. If you take a break and punish yourself for it afterward, that's not rest. If you feel guilty for simply being still, that's not rest. That's emotional imprisonment, and to free yourself from it, you must rewrite the story. You must begin to believe that rest is not earned, it is inherent, that you do not need to prove your exhaustion before you allow yourself to pause. That burnout is not a sign you failed, but a sign you've been carrying too much, too quietly, for too long. And here's the hardest part in the beginning. Even healthy rest might still feel empty. You'll lie down in bed and feel the urge to get up. You'll cancel a plan and feel the sting of guilt. You'll take a mental health day and feel like you're falling behind. But healing rest is a practice. It's not about feeling better right away. It's about creating the space where your nervous system can feel again, where your body begins to whisper, maybe I'm safe now, where your mind begins to trust, I don't have to run anymore, where your spirit begins to return gently, slowly, tenderly. You have not wasted your rest. It just hasn't had a chance to reach you yet, but it will if you let it, if you stop measuring it, if you stop punishing yourself in the quiet. This isn't about taking a weekend off. This is about reclaiming your right to exist without constantly performing. So today, let your rest be sacred. Let it be imperfect. Let it be messy. Let it be quiet, even if your mind is loud. And when the guilt arises, meet it with love. When the inner critic awakens, answer it with truth. The truth that you are not behind. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are becoming. And becoming takes more rest than the world understands. So lie down, close your eyes, unclench your jaw, let go of who you think you should be right now, and make space for who you are. You are healing even here, even in the stillness that doesn't yet feel like peace. And one day, soon, your rest will start to feel like resurrection. But until then, let it be relief. Let it be yours. There comes a moment in burnout that no one prepares you for, the moment you realize you no longer recognize the person you've become. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly, like a tide that pulls away without warning. One day, you wake up and look in the mirror, and there's this blankness in your eyes. You still look like you, but something's missing. Something essential, something sacred, the sparkle, the fire, the light behind your smile. Gone, and it's terrifying, isn't it, to feel like a stranger inside your own life, to remember who you used to be, full of energy, passion, creativity, love, and not know how to get back there. To wonder where that version of you went and whether they're ever coming back. You whisper things like, I used to be so driven, I used to laugh so easily, I used to feel alive, but now. It's like you're walking through fog, going through the motions, performing your identity instead of embodying it. You're surviving, not living, numbing, not connecting, existing, not becoming. But here is the truth you need to hear gently, but firmly. You are not lost. You are buried under exhaustion, buried under years of pushing past your limits, buried under roles you had to play, buried under pain you were never taught to process, buried under the belief that being useful is the only way to be lovable. Burnout doesn't erase you, it covers you. Your essence, the real you, is still there. She's just beneath the rubble of everything you were forced to hold, and that you is waiting for your permission to reemerge. Waiting for you to stop criticizing and start listening, waiting for the compassion you so freely give to everyone else but rarely offer yourself. You see, when you are burnt out, it's not just your energy that goes missing. It's your identity, the version of you that could juggle multiple tasks, connect deeply, create endlessly, speak openly. She fades, and what's left is this hollow version, the one that forgets words mid-sentence, avoids phone calls, flinches at the thought of one more obligation. And you begin to believe that this emptiness is who you are now. But that's the trick of trauma. It convinces you that your shutdown is your new self, when in reality, it's your body's desperate attempt to keep you safe. Burnout is the soul's way of whispering, "Please slow down, I can't carry this anymore." But when you don't listen or can't listen, that whisper becomes a shutdown, and the longer you ignore it, the more distant you feel from yourself. But let me say this as clearly as I can. You are not gone, you are not broken, you are in pause, and maybe, just maybe, that's okay. Maybe you were never meant to go back to who you were. Maybe that version of you, the one who never stopped, who held everyone's world together, who never said no, who kept smiling through the pain, maybe she needs to rest now. Maybe she did enough, and maybe the self you're becoming is softer, slower, wiser. Maybe she values peace over productivity, presence over performance, alignment over approval. But here's the hard part. Rediscovering yourself after burnout takes more than time. It takes trust. Trust that even though you feel empty now, you are not hollow. You are healing. Trust that even though you can't see the path yet, it's unfolding in every moment you choose rest over pressure, grace over guilt, curiosity over shame. The way back to yourself is not paved with hustle. It's paved with compassion, with asking, "What do I need today?" and really listening, with allowing joy to be small, not fireworks, but fireflies. Not parades, but petals. It's waking up and saying, "I don't feel like me yet, but I'm still here." Because that's what healing really is, remembering yourself, piece by piece. And maybe that begins by stopping the chase to feel normal again. Because what you used to call normal may have been quietly killing you, the overworking, the overpleasing, the constant noise, the inner critic you thought was motivation. What if this isn't about going back? What if it's about becoming someone new, someone more aligned, more grounded, more you? But to do that, you have to stop mourning your old self as if she was the goal. Honor her, thank her, but don't cling to her. Because something beautiful is happening in the dark, even when you feel numb, even when the mirror reflects emptiness, even when you can't find the words, your soul is still speaking. It's in the sighs, the tears, the ache in your chest. It's in the way your body longs for softness. It's in the moments when you stop scrolling just to breathe. You are still here and you are still whole, even in your fragmentation. Let this be the season you come home to yourself, not through pressure, not through performance, but through presence. Start small. Let your coffee be slow. Let your journal be honest. Let your silence be sacred. Let your needs be honored. You are not lazy for losing touch with yourself. You were surviving, and now you're being invited to return. You are not who you were. You are not yet who you're becoming. You are the space in between the chrysalis, and it's okay if it's dark in here. It's okay if you can't see the wings yet. They are forming. Your light is not gone, it is gathering, and one day soon you'll look in the mirror again and see her, not the old you, not the burnt out you, but the real you, the healed one, the one who chose to come back not because she was forced to, but because she finally chose herself.